Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? It's so nice to have you back with me. I am looking at the sunshine outside and I'm very thankful for another beautiful November day. I am going to be working in our 3 new Christmas journals, and today I want to work on a page that is made out of craft paper that has been coffee splattered, and then a layer of gesso was put over the front and the back. I am going to create a mini journal that we can attach to this. And we're going to create it out of an envelope. Now these are A4 size pages. This is what the size of the journal is. And so I have not chosen a large envelope for this. I have chosen one that is 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and it has the square flap instead of the pointy flap. I don't think that matters. That's just what mine has. I have inked up around the edges of this, and I will just set that aside for now. And on our envelope, I want to spray some ink and get some color on there. The ink colors that I'm choosing for this are Distress inks, oxide inks. Let me get a piece of paper here, put underneath, catch our drippage. We have Evergreen Bough and the kind that I mixed up from some leftover mowed lawns, I don't know, it was like 3 different colors to make a nice brown, greeny brown. Actually, I don't really have the perfect green color spray for this journal, so we're just kind of going with it. I think in the other pages I may have used some peeled paint, and I thought, well, let's try the Evergreen Bough and see how that looks. So it looks like a blue spruce. Have that on there, and then we're going to add a little brown to it. And then we'll let that dry. So here it is dry, and the next thing I want to do is stamp. This is going to be the cover of our mini journal. This is going to be the front, and this is going to be the back. I want to add a piece of paper here to close off this section. I have a scrap of our masterboard, so I'm going to use that. We'll tear that down to size, and we don't need it to be that wide. There, that looks pretty good. I want to add some glue right down along here to close this, just probably 1/8 of an inch away from the fold line of our flap of our envelope. Then we'll add glue to these flaps here, right here, and over here. Don't put any glue in here. We do not want to close that up. And then a little bit of glue here. And then we'll put our piece of paper down. And that's going to seal that all up. We can add a little bit more here too. Didn't know quite how far out this was going to go, so I didn't want to overdo it. There we go. That seals up our envelope here, okay? Because over on this side, we're going to take a sliver off for our opening to our pocket we're going to have on the front cover of our mini journal. So now we have a pocket here. I want to put a thumb hole in it. I'm going to use my circle punch. Going to go just eye it up, go about halfway, maybe not quite halfway in. So we have our thumbnail hole. We have our envelope closed up. All right, on the envelope flap, I want to stamp this magenta poinsettia stamp. It's just about the right size for that flap. This is, magenta is a Canadian-based company, and the stamp number is 02234N. All right, so to take my Versamark ink pad, ink this up, stamp it firmly down on my flap, just like that. And then I'll take gold embossing powder and I will sprinkle that over my stamped image. and then I will heat set it. I will turn my heat gun on, and when it gets hot, I will aim it at my image, keeping it a couple inches away from the paper, and as it melts, you can see it melt. I will then move my heat down along. All right, there we have it. I do want to, before I forget, ink up around this whole envelope with my Distress Oxide Vintage Photo ink, both sides. All right, the next thing I am going to do is decorate the front of my envelope. I have chosen some lace to add right down alongside there, and I will apply that with Fabric Fusion. Put a stream of it right down along here. And I do want to add some poinsettias with my stencil on the background of this. Three will do, and I'm going to put it on the back of it also. There we go. In the kit that I have, the digital kit that I've purchased for this, these are called ATCs, Artist Trading Cards. They're usually 2.5 by 3.5 or 2 by 3 or something like that. And I will glue that down first. I just have my Fabric Fusion out, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that glue. Put it down in the right-hand corner, about there. And then I want to add a strip of lace, just a piece right here. And I'm not sure what these are considered, but they're almost like a cigarette card or a, oh, there's another kind of card that are about the same size, but they're part of the digital kit. So we'll glue that down also. And we're going to glue that just so that it sticks above the Artist Trading Card, the ATC. And that has snowmen on it. And then we're going to place a tree. Our tree is a little bit big. I think I'm going to go, there's a smaller one. That's a better fit. Let's ink up the edges. And I'm using the art glitter glue so that I can get it all along these little branches that poke out. And then I have this label, and that's again a digital junk journal shop or studio, junk journal studio, I think it's called. That'll be listed below. And there we have the front of our journal. Let's cut off the little excess lace that we have here at the top. We have the front and we have the flap. Our next part we want to do will be to take it, and I'm going to sew from the bottom up across the fold for the flap and across the top, making sure I don't sew down the front here on the right hand side, or that'll close in our pocket that we're building. So I'll be right back. There we have the cover to our journal. And the papers I'm going to use for the pages are the 8.5 by 11 coffee stained copy paper. I'm going to fold it in half one direction, fold it in half the other direction. Now for the pages, we want the fold to be on the left. We're going to open this back up, and you'll see the fold that's in the center. We're going to cut them in half portrait style. So it's in a portrait style now. We're going to turn it so it's landscape, and we're going to rip this right down the center. So that gives us 2 pages, and then we'll do another one so that we have 3 pages. I want to take all of these papers, and I'm going to ink up around the edges, front and back. After I have them inked up, I am going to take my stencil with my fired brick ink, and I'm going to add poinsettias to all of them, front and back. Some I'm going to do real light and just a part of the stencil. Some I will do heavier and darker. After I have that done, going to stack them neatly together, and I'm going to sew them into my journal with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. This is going to be the spine of my signature. The flap where it's folded onto the envelope is where my spine is going to be. So I want to line up my signature into that spine so that it will close up like this. So I have my 3 pages. They're nestled down inside the spine. I have an awl. I'm going to poke a hole approximately in the center through all the pages and the cover, and one on the top and one on the bottom. I am going to take some of this waxed linen cord. I need it to be about 3 times the size of my height of my journal. Cut my cord. I have a needle with a little bit larger head on it so that I can thread my cord through like that. I want to have my threads hanging on the outside, not the inside. So I'll start from the outside through the center hole to the center of the journal, pull it up, leaving a tail. I'll go down through the top hole from the inside back out to the outside. Let's see, go on, there we go, like this. And then I will bring it all the way down on the outside to the hole on the bottom and put it back through to the inside. Then I'm going to bring it back out through the hole in the middle to the outside on the opposite side of this string that the first string is. So we have our tail, then we have where we went from top to bottom, this string. I want to move that, and I want to come on the opposite side of that without splitting our thread. So there we have here's our center thread, here's the one string, here's the other string. I want to pull that tight and tie a knot. I'm going to tie a square knot. And then I'll leave my tails to put a dangle of some sort on. Now our signatures are sewn into our mini journal. Here we have a mini journal. Now we need to make a journal tag to go inside our pocket that we left here on the front of our journal. Now you can decorate these if you want to add more to it. I'm good with just leaving it the way that it is, and that can be some extra journaling space. I will add something here. I have that bag that has little pieces of ephemera from the kit, and there was a sprig in here of pine, if I can find it. I could also do a pine cone. Let's just do a pine cone. Ink up around the edge of that and glue that down. There we go. I'll set that aside. And I have taken a piece of our master board that we had made in our first video to make a tag out of. Now the envelope I had said was 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and my tag is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. I have inked up around the edges of it, front and back, and I have put on my lines for journaling with my stamp, and I put the poinsettia on. I have this piece of paper that I would like to add as a layer, and it's just some music paper. It's scrapbook paper, it's not sheet music. And then we'll add this on with our art glitter glue. I need to get my bottle refilled. It's running pretty low here. And I'll put that, I think I'll bring it down because I want to show off as much as that white up there for the contrast that we can. And now we have that. And then I have one of these trading cards that I want to add to this. First, I want to add a piece of lace up along the length of that. And it can go the whole length or just a piece. What I have here is a piece. So I'm going to take my Fabric Fusion and I'm going to just put some of it right here. So precise, right? And then add that piece of lace. Take it over to the edge so that when I stitch around here, it'll catch in with the stitching. Then I have my art trading card that I'll add on top of that. A little bit over the lace. There we go. And on top of that, I want to add this dictionary word from Calico Collage. It says wreath. And I'm going to put that right on top of my artist trading card like that. So that's looking pretty good. I want to go around the outside edge of this and sew zigzag around the outside edge, and then around the artist trading card, and then a straight edge around the dictionary word, wreath. And then I'll be back to put a page tab on it. For our page tab, we will take a piece of the poinsettia paper and just tear it down, ink up around the edge. Get a scrap piece of lace. I have a scrap piece of the music paper here, so we'll add that. Fold these in half, one over top of the other, and then the lace over both of them. And then we'll put it on the side of our page, or our card, our journaling card, and staple that on, catching in all 2 layers of paper and the lace. And there's our journaling card that goes in the cover pocket of our mini journal, like this. Leave it sticking out just a little bit. Make sure everything's down nice and securely. Now, if you want to, you can add like a piece of paper here so that you have a full cover. I wanted to leave the effect of the envelope. Now, we have our page here that it's going to go on, and it will slide into our journal just like this. Now, you can glue that down if you like, the flap. Put some glue on here, and then put your page down and glue it right on so it's permanent in your book, or you can paper clip it on. It's a rather heavy piece of ephemera. I am going to paper clip it on, and then whoever gets this journal, if they decide they want to glue it down, they can, or they can leave it as a standalone element for the journal, or even take it right out of the journal and just use it. Goodness, it could be like a Christmas card even, for that fact. Wouldn't that be a cool Christmas card, guys? On this part of our journal page, the inside part where the mini journal would fit, I want to go down along the side with my magenta stamp and my gold embossing. So I'll ink that up with the Versamark ink, put it right down along the edge. It's kind of hard to see where you left off, so we're just going to guess and hope for the best, guys. All right, then we're going to take our gold embossing powder and sprinkle on where we just stamped. And that's going to create a beautiful border. Now you have to be careful that your paper doesn't bubble up. So again, get your heat gun hot, and then keep it away from the paper a little bit and move it as soon as it starts melting, or as soon as it starts buckling, whichever comes first. There we go. We have a nice border now that our journal, or any journal, would sit down over just like that. It looks very pretty. When you open your journal up, then you have this page here, if it's glued to your book. Now I want to take the front and the back of this page, and you know it's coming. What are we going to do? We're going to add some poinsettias. Randomly, in different shades, by adding different pressure to our applicator, front and back. Some of it just a little bit, some of it a lot. There we go. We have poinsettias on our paper. Our paper's been inked up all around. And we need to take this over. And I showed you in the last video, and I will link it in the playlist down below, and you can see how I add splatters. So check out the last video. It'd be the second video in this series. And I will take these over to my workstation over there where I do the splatters, and I will splatter the front, the whole front, And I'm going to splatter here also with gold ink and with white watered down gesso. There's our project for today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this project. It's a fun one and an easy one to do. And maybe you want to even make them as Christmas cards or Christmas gifts, mini journals as gifts. It's very simple, and you can make them out of whatever size envelopes you have on hand. So give it a try, guys. Thank you for watching. You have a wonderful day, and we will see you again soon. Bye now.